Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo, and another wee woo because I forgot one in my last video, but what on earth is going on alt TikTok? Zooey mama. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is what is going on. People are putting gates on the different parts of... on the different parts of alternative TikTok, saying, you copied my piercings, no, you copied my tattoos. Did you buy that from a mainstream shop? Name 5 different songs from that band. The band's a massive sellout normie band. Just deal with it. It's a mainstream band at this point. Golly gosh, do we have an interesting conversation ahead of us today, just diving into all of the mess that's been going on in alternative TikTok. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself if you're new here. My name is Cowd's Life, and on this channel we do videos talking about things we see on the internet, and then we'll discuss it as a community. Wow, teamwork, down in the comment section below. So if that sounds like fun for you, please feel free to subscribe. We're trying to beat this here old ratio. Yoo-hoo, words of empowerment. We can do it? Question mark? And if you're not new here, hello again friend, it's me, Cow. My body aches a weird amount today. I think I just haven't been sleeping that much. But I hope you are doing better than me. Yeah, and the bonus topic we'll be talking about at the end of this video is this here Pokemon card I got when I was 16, so it's like 11 years old now. And I got it as a gift, so it's got quite a lot of sentimental value and a nice little story behind it. So we'll be talking about that later to decompress after the video topic. But good golly, that's enough of that alt talk. What's going on, buddy? Sit down, let's talk a little bit. Stop, this isn't you. Talking point 1, copying piercings. And are you allowed to glue them on? This is such a silly online conversation. Oh boy, do I love alt talk. Alt talk is a place where people embrace the different subcultures like goth, emo, and punk. You know, people that live outside of the mainstream, you'd think they'd be more open-minded and more accepting of people doing things differently. But no, it's being like policed to like the highest level of what you have to do to be in this community. It's so just silly goofy at this point, and I just have to laugh. This TikTok basically did the rounds of this one content creator calling out another, being like, you copied my piercing layout. Oh golly, but my heart kind of hurts, because what if there's genuineness behind this? And there was. Someone was actually upset that someone else had supposedly copied their piercing layout. Not only were they claiming that this other human copied their piercings, they were also saying they glued them on, which makes them a poser and not cool. Ugh. This is how I feel about this. And honestly, my initial thoughts are, there's only so many different ways you can arrange your piercings on your face. At this point, originality is very much dead. You want to know why I did this setup of piercings on my face? Can you see? Can you see now? Can you see now? I hope it's in focus. But I've got one here, one here, and one here. I like the way vintage steam trains look when they got that snowplow thing on, and I was like, I want my nose to look like that, so I went ahead and did it. What if a steam train calls me out for being like, Cal, you're totally trying to look like the front of a... I am Thomas the Tank Engine with snowplow variant. I am trying to copy your vibe completely. But the notion of copying someone's piercing layout when there's only so much you can do realistically seems just futile. It just seems pointless. It makes no sense. Why? It's not that deep. Go to like any alternative space and you'll realize we all vaguely look the same. I'm sorry if this doesn't fulfill your individuality complex, but we're not that special. If you go to certain parts of London, there's like 50 billion of me just walking about, or just a bunch of lads in tank tops with tattoos and overpriced coffees. We're not rare. I'm a dime a dozen, and I'm okay with that. As long as I'm happy in my own skin, I'm cool. As long as I like how I look, that's good enough for me. I don't care if someone else looks like me. I'm very much cool with that. And also, if you're interacting with like piercing content, alternative content and stuff, TikTok is going to show you individuals that look similar to you or are interested in similar things. So of course you're gonna have shared aesthetic looks. It's fine. This look just really isn't that unique, and that's not me like hating on it. You know, if it brings you happiness, that's cool. Do your thing. But like at this point, there's nothing the alternative scene hasn't seen in the way of body mods. People are doing all sorts of things, and at this point I'm just like, yeah, fair enough. Seen it before, cool. Do your thing if you're happy, great. Keep doing your thing. But to think like it's your iconic original look is a wild, terrible take. Very silly, haha. Very silly, goofy. I think unfortunately though, because TikTok is this visual-based app where we all try and look super cool, or a lot of us try and look super cool, like me when I did my what I'm wearing today videos. The issue is there becomes obsession with exclusivity. What's your USP? What makes you different? I've got 50 billion piercings in my face. It's actually not that different. There's a bunch of people doing that. It's like I had to tell myself one day, Cal, there's millions of other men out there wearing baggy parachute pants with Doc Martens and tank tops and little hats. You're not the only one doing it, my guy. And I was just like, my individuality complex. How will I get validation now from living life and having meaningful connections with the people I love? Anyways, another hot pot in this talking point was people being like, gluing on piercings makes you a poser. No, it doesn't. I don't care if you glue on your piercings. There's a whole host of reasons why somebody may glue on piercings. I feel like no rationale is being used in these conversations. Let's explore why someone may glue on their piercings. Mine aren't glued on, if that's what you're wondering at mine. But anyways, there are reasons why you may glue them on. One, your legal guardians may be like, you're not allowed piercings while you live under this roof. Ah, gosh darn it. Oh, to be young and to live under the rules of somebody else. But hey, that's just the game's a game, and you've got to play by the rules sometimes, so you may have to wait until you move out. So in the meantime, you just stick them on when you're going out to hang out with your friends. You just glue them on or whatever. I don't actually know how you do glue them on, because I've never glued on a piercing before. But if you want to tell me in the comment section, please do. Is there a special type of glue you have to use so it's not bad for your skin? But yeah, that's reason one I thought of. Reason two might be someone just simply experimenting and trying to work out if they like it or not. It's a big commitment, and if you don't like it, you're left with like a hole in your face for a few months until it goes away. So, by sticking one on and taking a few TikToks and seeing how you feel is a great idea to see if you like it or not. It's not stealing an aesthetic, man, because piercings do not belong to the alternative scene. It's not like goths or punks or hippies owned them originally. No, they're a thing that have been deep-rooted in different cultures for, well, since like the beginning of time. Like, people have always been doing them and customizing their avatar with them, which is really cool, and it has different meanings to different cultures. So to be like, no, you can't glue them on because you're stealing my gothic look or whatever, it's just like, oh, come on, you silly sausage. Don't be a teapot. Let people express themselves and find their authentic identity. It's not that deep for you. And the third reason, of totally valid reasons I can think of, and there's probably like a bunch more for why people may just glue on piercings instead of getting them pierced, is they like may have like a fear of like needles, and like they may just like have that thing where you just bleed a lot and you don't stop bleeding. I don't know, that could maybe impact your decision making when getting piercings. Overall, I just think it's a silly thing to care about, team. I don't think you should care if people are gluing on their piercings, as long as they're doing it safely and not using a glue that's going to harm their skin and body, of course. But let people live. This is very harmless and it's not hurting anyone. And you can't copy a piercing layout, especially like one that's just like quite normal in the grand scheme of things. I would understand if you had some like sort of custom piercing made for your face, but this is all very much accessible in any piercing shop, really, isn't it? Yeah, and with that, we steadily go on to talking point 2. Band merch, gatekeeping. Oh, this is just a cesspit of just terrible takes. People have recently been really annoyed that like shops like, I think it was H&M, was selling Slipknot merch, and they were like, ugh, now the normies are gonna be listening to Slipknot. Slipknot is like a very, very mainstream band, my friend. Like, you'll find lots of normies, or whatever you want to call people that aren't in your perceived world of the alternative universe, listening to Slipknot. It's very well known. It's like the equivalent of things like Iron Maiden. Lots of these bands have sold merch in mainstream high street stores you'll find in your local towns and cities. I even saw some like absolutely just chaotic, terrible takes being like, if I see somebody wearing that Slipknot merch to a Slipknot gig, I'm gonna call them out and be like, name some songs. Surely you can't be real. Surely nobody's actually doing that in real life. If I saw somebody go up to another person in real life and be like, name 3 songs from that band, I would be like, I would laugh in disbelief, and also in my head I'd be like, that is so much more cringe and weird than somebody wearing a t-shirt to a band they've never listened to. Actually taking time out of your day to go up and be like, I'm gonna gatekeep and protect Slipknot, the band that has made millions from being like this global worldwide success. It's not a little niche independent band. Oh, I don't know if you've heard about Slipknot. I don't know if you've listened to Duality. Sometimes I want to push my fingers into my eyes. Oh my gosh, we all know Slipknot. You're not unique or special in this case. Do they have some cool songs? Yeah, I think I have no quarrel with Slipknot. The mask's funny, cool. Like, yeah, it's fun. But they're not like some little niche band you're protecting. They are very much happy with selling out, if that's what you want to call it. They're very okay with that. They pretty much stamped their logo into all sorts of things. The same like when Korn, didn't they collab with like Adidas or something? These are very, very, very mainstream normie bands that are like pillar posts in the alternative world that are pretty much accessible to all. They're not some sort of like niche underground, actually independent hardcore band or anything. They're just normie core bands. And that is okay. That's not me dissing them. They all have the ability to make good music, but Do I think you have to try and gatekeep and protect them? No, they're already diluted for the mainstream to the max. Just enjoy them if you want to enjoy them, or don't. The bands have agreed to be sold in those stores. There's a demand for them. It's a fair exchange. Nothing weird or heinous is going on that you have to get upset and rally about. You know what I mean? And this like naturally brings me on to like talking point 3. The over like hyper protecting of normcore alt bands from the mainstream. I see people getting so defensive over like bands like Kublai Khan, Sleep Token, or like Bad Omens. I'm sorry, but all of these bands have been TikTokified, and that's not hating on them. They all have the capability to make some very catchy tunes that we all listen to, right? That's fine, that's cool. Trying to protect them from the mainstream and getting upset when non-alternative people or whatever are enjoying them. Again, these are very much bands that don't need gatekeeping or whatever, because they don't want to be gatekeeped. They're very much commercial successes to the mass public. They don't need saving or protecting because they're already at the point where everybody knows about them. I think what this mentality does reveal, though, like this gatekeeping ideas that people are trying to do for bands like Kublai Khan and Sleep Token and like Bad Omens, I think it reveals like the tension people have of the bands they listen to being perceived as underground in their subculture spaces, and they've got to stay true to that. But the reality is a lot of these bands will just accept and celebrate commercial success. This is their dream. They want to play music in front of lots of people and have millions of listeners. So of course they're gonna embrace the mainstream success. Secure the bag, do your thing if you want. None of these bands are like claiming to be like grassroots hardcore bands that are staying true to the game. So heck, let them become little TikTok dances and funny little things. If they don't have an issue with it, game's a game. If they want to do some silly merch in the local regular people stores, game's a game. Just get amongst it. If you want to listen to the music, do. If you don't, if it doesn't resonate with you anymore, that's okay. That's fine. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You have to like protect them from people. Oh, you with your passionate care. It's great you care about your space, but these bands are pretty much mainstream at this point, and that's fine. That's totally okay. It's okay. I know it can be scary. Your thing that made you different is mainstream, but sometimes you've got to embrace change. And I know change is very scary, but I can promise you on cases like your bands, it will be fine. But also, if I am thinking about it, which I am, that's why I'm filming and making a video and there's lights around me and I'm overheating. But when I do think about it, gatekeeping these bands that I've mentioned is silly because they are big. Maybe I would understand your like elitist thought process if it was a really small band, but these aren't small bands by any means. And also I do want to say that like elitist gatekeeping mentality, we got to keep this band a secret so it doesn't blow up, is just weird, as it just discourages growth. Music, like all art, evolves, and should the artist want to expand, let them expand. Don't like latch onto them like you're Smaug the dragon and they're the Arkenstone, the heart of the mountain. They're not the heart of the mountain. They're musicians that have hopes and dreams, and you are not Smaug. You are a humanoid. Stop being weird, please. Blocking new listeners or calling them the P-word posers. Ah! No, can't you see I've got tattoos? No, please, I'm not a poser. But calling people posers and stuff in the comment sections and being like, oh, I can tell you're a new fan, doesn't make you more alt. Doesn't give you any more like prestige in the alt community. My voice broke there, but my words still have meaning. It just promotes that toxic stereotype about the alt communities that they're just overly exclusive and elitist and like cliquey. And this isn't school. I hated how school was so cliquey. It made me anxious and made me lose my appetite a lot of the time. When in reality, the alt community's IRL. If you go to the real things, it's all about celebrating, not being like, I'm a level 600 alt lord because I've got 20,000 followers on TikTok, therefore I'm more alt than you and you are my poser followers. No, stop now. You listen to Sleep Token. Again, not dissing Sleep Token. Do your thing, Sleep Token. Wayo. But you're not like some sort of hidden gem. You're big time mainstream success. Talking point 4, the DIY debate. I've straight up seen TikToks of people bashing on people that look semi-alternative and being like, that's a fast fashion outfit. They're such posers. They're not a real insert whatever sub-faction you belong to, goth, emo, punk. And yes, if someone was like, I'm the Punk Lord 7000, look at my punk levels, nobody can touch my crusty pants from I'm not being weird, crust pants are a thing in the punk community if you're crust punk. But like, if someone was marketing themselves as that and they were just buying some sort of like Hot Topic crust pants, that would be problematic. But if someone's just coming online, showing their fit and they're not claiming to be some sort of edgelord in the goth or punk community, and they're just wearing clothes, and they just like things of that aesthetic. That in itself is not problematic. It's just an aesthetic they like. They're not claiming to belong to a faction. Also, when you do that, it just makes it seem super hostile and makes people not want to actually engage with the relevant sub-factions those aesthetics may be similarly linked to, but not actually be directly strong component of. Does that make sense? I'm unsure. What I'm trying to say is, if someone is clearly just like an e-person TikTok alt aesthetic, I'm not going to hold them to any sort of DIY standards, because they're just the new variant of mainstream alternative. They're not even thinking about DIY and going to local shows and stuff, because that's not part of that look and vibe. This is just a current trend and aesthetic, which is totally fine. They're not claiming to be like fighting the machine or anything. They're just trying to do silly dances on the internet, and yeah, I don't care. Do your thing, I guess. Zooey mama. Also, within the community spaces like goth, punk, there's an understandable strong ethos of DIYing when you can and you should, because it's cool and it's anti-capitalistic, and then you're doing your own thing. Fine, makes sense. Very valid argument. But someone can be goth or punk and also not DIY clothes, in the sense that they may pay other goths or punks to make their clothes for them, and they're still supporting other goths and punks, and the DIY process is still going along. Harmony still continues. Wee woo, it's not always straight and linear. There's many ways things can play out. There's a whole host of reasons why people cannot do DIY clothing all the time, and they may be personal to that person. Also, just commenting on people's videos like hateful things being like sheencore is just not a productive thing to do with your time, because fast fashion is unfortunately ultimately always the most accessible version of fashion. So shaming someone for their speculated lack of DIY ethos kind of shows a real lack of empathy and ignores the intersection of class and alternative fashion. Talking point 5, tattoo shaming and like the Pinterest core debate. I've seen like just the tattoo world on TikTok getting really toxic at the moment. Lots of people being shamed for having Pinterest tattoos or having just like sticker book tattoos. And again, no critical thought here, complete lack of empathy, just shaming people left, right and center for their tattoos. Tattoos are like a complete subjective expression of identity, and even if they are very on trend and they follow a trend, they still may be very personal to the person that has them, right? The idea of just shaming someone for having Pinterest tattoos only serves as a way to just alienate people from actually expressing themselves, which, you know, is directly counterintuitive to the alternative scene, which is about being alternative and expressing yourself differently from the mainstream. Well, you can express yourself differently as long as you don't have that, or that, because that's so Pinterest cool. And this is coming from a man that has no individual tattoos, if that makes sense. All my tattoos are big continuous pieces, whether it's on my arms or back or wherever I've got tattoos. Never would I want to shame someone that has just like individual tattoos. It just seems like a terrible take. Shaming people for their chosen aesthetic is only going to increase the likelihood that they may regret their tattoos, and that's sad. It always breaks a little bit of my heart when I see people being like, I regret getting tattoos, and then you see them getting them lasered off. I'm like, that's just sad that like you've fallen out of love with something that at one point in your life resonated so strongly with you. And I think that's how you should view tattoos. Are there aspects of tattoos that I wouldn't optionally choose to get again? Yes, probably, like, because like my interests and my mood changes as I get older, right, and what I'm interested by. But that doesn't mean I should hate any of my tattoos. It's a celebration of that point in my life where it really resonated with me, and that's awesome. I don't want to hate on my younger self and be like, so cringe. You got the. I have a rose on my arm, and I'm aware they're very. How the heck do I even show that part of my arm? But look, like, there's a rose there. And in the tattoo world, there's such like a trope around people that have like a realism rose. It's because they're overdone. But like, just because something's overdone, it just basically means it was popular. And I'm okay with that. It's just like how American traditional tattoos are currently very popular, or like you've got like cyber tribal, I think it's called, or just like tribal tattoos in general have made a huge comeback. And if they resonate with you and they make you happy, crack on and do your thing. It's honestly not that deep. I also really like how this content creator applied to being called like Pinterest core tattoos, because that actually was them on Pinterest. They're just being reblogged and shared a lot. So go you, random person on the internet, you generally did show them. Zooey mama. I feel like another thing that feeds into this whole like tattoo shaming, or people having really negative opinions about certain types of tattoos, it's like when people do the videos being like, what this tattoo says about you, and then I feel bad because so many people clearly bite to it in the comment section. They're like, nuh-uh, it doesn't mean that, I swear. And you can see people getting upset because clearly their tattoo's being called out. And I almost feel like this goes back to the piercing like debate. Originality pretty much not really there anymore. Like, a lot of people have similar tattoos based on trends, and that's not a bad thing if you're influenced by trends. Like, it's absolutely fine. Lots of people will have like spider webs or jaguars or like spiders or like moths or like sacred. Sorry if I just called out one of your tattoos. Or like sacred hearts are really cool. Like, all these things, I think they're cool, and there's a reason why lots of people get them, because they are popular. Such judgmental lens on tattoos and what you should and shouldn't get is so weird, because never in real life have I like been talking to someone and been like, oh, that tattoo's so bad. I don't like you. I'm gonna have a complete preconceived notion on you now that I've seen you got that tattoo. To be fair, one time I was in the barber's getting my hair cut when I was a younger man, and this man lifted up his top to show us all his new tattoo. This is actually disgusting and crude. He had elephant ears tattooed on his lower abdomen. And this isn't a lie, this is a true story. And I was just like, oh my goodness, what on earth is going on? But hey, I suppose if it brings him happiness, fair enough, I guess. Zooey mama, but I was shocked. That's the only time I've ever been shocked by a tattoo. My conclusion on tattoos is, even if I wouldn't get them myself, I'm like, yeah, cool, at least you're expressing yourself, do your thing. Obviously, as long as it's not rude or offensive. Yes, glad we cleared that one up. Wayo, time for my final talking point. Is this a thumbs up, or am I saying we're on talking point 6? Questions I will not address. The bigger problem on Old Talk is ones need to permanently prove themselves. And I feel this is the biggest issue. So many people permanently feel like they need to show how alt they are rather than actually participating in their relevant spaces. You know, instead of encouraging self-expression and inclusion, it becomes a straight up competition of who can be perceived as the most alternative and quirky. Yeah, I'm a level 6000 alt lord. That's like alternative beams and discount and affiliate codes to my independent brand shooting out my finger to the viewer. I don't know. Who cares about how perceived alternative and different you are? Ugh. But this is just so exclusionary. It's weird. Stop now. Please stop. Am I allowed to say stop? I'm overthinking it. Yes, I can say stop being weird, Cal. Gatekeeping hurts community growth. And by focusing so much on who's real or like authentic, it just pushes away new potential people that are potentially interested in these subculture spaces getting put off being like, that edgelord 9000 who had 20,000 followers said that if I don't look like this or do things this way, I can't be part of the team. And I had one tattoo that they said wasn't cool. Oh my goodness, it's just not friendly. Stop. I don't like it. Why put other people down? Stop creating barriers to entry to a space that should be about community and letting people express themselves authentically. Who cares if that person expressing themselves authentically in their alternative spaces is by getting tattoos you associate with popular trends? Don't shame them, because then you just create this place where people feel they cannot measure up to the impossible standards. Let them be their authentic self. Like, another obvious example of all of this is like that TikTok being like, when a 14-year-old tries to tell me about emo lore, but I was emo back in the day of insert random bit of emo lore. And then someone in the comment sections will be like, I don't even know about that. I was an emo in 2002. Basically, there'll always be someone higher up the emo prestige scale than you. So there's no point even involving yourself in that conversation at all. You want to be in those subculture spaces, get amongst it, have fun. Maybe just focus on having a good time yourself and less about what others are doing. Unless they're actually doing something really to harm the subculture. Just like being like, I'm the crust punk 9000, but I got this all from Hot Topic. Stop it, you crusty pirate. The only thing crusty about you is your morals. Wayo, boom, don't do it to them, cow. I just did do it. I went there and I got a return bus ticket. Wayo, Skog, high five me so I look cool in front of my peers. My rotator cuff in my shoulder's absolutely fried. Totally just got punked, and this has been a Cowder's life talking about Alt Talk. Yeah, Alt Talk, you absolute amazing space on the internet. There actually is a lot of good there. I'm not trying to paint a picture that's all bad. It's just I thought this stuff was weird. Let's talk about it. Do you think it's weird? Do you think it's not inclusive? It's actually very exclusive, and it's making this space that should be about people expressing themselves freely suddenly being like, you have to jump through this hoop and this hoop and this hoop, but you have to avoid that hoop if you want to be part of this space. I'm the emo owl. I don't know. It's just all weird, and it just seems not very friendly and cool. Luckily for me, I have no personal urge to ever join groups. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just have no urge. I've never been part of a fandom. I've never tried to label my voice break, label myself as anything. And I'm not redoing my line because I'm a one-take pony. So I've never particularly cared. I suppose because I've always just felt so inherently alienated as a human. The thought of even trying to belong to a group seems impossible. So I've never bothered. Not in like a woe is me way. I just simply like my brain doesn't register it. So it's very much fine. But yeah, let's talk about it. Also, I really do like just talking about the alt space in general. So I'm thinking like every so often we could do a video talking about what's going on in the alt spaces. So if you ever want to send me some like TikToks or something on Instagram, or shoot me a message about what's going on, let me know, and if it's good I will include it in the video, and I will put your name in the video being like, they told me about this piece of information going along, let's look at it quickly whilst we recap the alt world. Yes, I would like to do that. Let me know if you would like me to do that within this community. Anyways, now it's time for this bad boy. Slow King. I love Slow King. Zooey Mama. Nobody is doing it like Slow King. I feel I say that about everything I do on my show and tells, but it's because everything I do in my show and tells, in my videos, I truly love, and that's why I'm showing it to you all. Slow King. So I got this I think when I was like 16. And I'm now 27, so they're 11 years old. Yeah, they're pretty old. I just really love Slow King, and I think this card is really beautiful. It's just a really cool looking card. Gosh darn it. Do you remember like the Team Rocket additional cards? I should have got my Team Rocket collection cards out as well. I'll try and dig them out for my next video. But the Team Rocket collection in general had like the Team Rocket bit here. I always thought was really cool. And I think I have got like the Team Rocket Slow King, unless I traded it when I was younger, but I don't think I did. Hopefully I've still got it and I'll dig it out and find it for you, but Slow King's awesome. I really want the Jumbo XL version of Slowpoke from the Pokemon Center. That'd be really fun. I would just like that on my couch, and then they can sit there and watch movies with me. I think Slow King is just straight up one of my favorite Pokemon. They just chill. They just seem like they'll just be very chill to be around and not particularly high maintenance. And I like their crown. It's fit for a king. I suppose that's their name, Slow King. That's what I'm inferring, at least. My goal is to eventually put all my favorite cards, frame them, and put them all around my apartment. There's just two specific cards in the Digimon universe. It's like Gabumon and Agumon, and I want to get them. I want them framed, and I want them put them behind me for videos, but I'm scared the lights will glare off the glass of the frames, and then you wouldn't actually be able to see them, and it would just be distracting for the viewer. If anyone knows anything about lighting and how that would work, please explain it to me, because I'm really clueless, and I would just be winging it. So yeah, but I thought I'd show you Slow King. What's your favorite Pokemon if you have one? Or what's your favorite Digimon? I love Digimon as well. So yeah, please tell me, and then we can talk about that. I will try and dig out my Team Rocket cards for next video. Right, I've been your boy Cat Life. We shall see you in the comment section and in the next video. Okay, bye.